cannot believe your baby. Congratulations, your baby is 40. I cannot
I
believe it.
know.
I
Time
know.
flies.
Is he
Uh,
divorced yet with four
Well,
kids? Or like
he moved back home, and
oh,
he's living in the
he's
basement.
living in the basement.
fitting. I mean, memories are so fleeting, and you guys shot this thing over 40 freaking years ago. Well, what is the most vivid memory you guys still have today from the set of the OG Nightmare from Elm Street?
Well, I think my most vivid memory, well, there's so many, but the bathtub scene is definitely a memory for the ages because it was such a difficult scene to do. They had built this, 8 foot, 9 foot deep tank that had a bathtub at the top, and Jim Doyle, our special effects head of department, was underneath me in a scuba suit all day long with Wes Craven banging on the side of the tub every time he wanted him to stick that glove out of the water. And then they shot it from so many different angles. I thought, oh, is this ever going to be done? And then the next day when we watched the dailies, it was so magnificent. I thought that was worth it every moment.
Well, my story is a little different. I remember about a week into the shoot, and I was still finding elements of Freddy's character. But I had done some stuff, some shadowy stuff at the end of a hall and on a catwalk and things. Heather and I had worked together briefly in a little scene. They brought me in, and they brought me in at the crack of dawn, because the makeup took almost, took 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours, 4 hours then, because we were still working it out. Mm-hmm. And it was hot. It was summer in LA. It was the summer of the Olympics. And I'm sitting there, and they're touching me up. And it's Dave Miller and his famous crusty brush with glue on it. And he's poking me, and I'm hot, and I'm itchy under the sweater. And banker's hours, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. In come Heather and Johnny Depp. And they're young, and they're beautiful, and they have porcelain skin. And and a word nobody likes, they're moist, and they come in, and they sit down, and in the makeup chairs. And it's like they don't need makeup, but they come in and they're going to get their makeup on. And the makeup girl, Ramona, Ramona gave them both little battery-operated pink fans to keep them cool because it's so hotty-wotty outside in the mean, ugly L.A. summer with the smoggy-woggy. And I'm sitting there and I'm like feeling like, what am I, chopped liver? I'm pushing 30. I've done a dozen movies. Did I do the right thing? Should I have taken a horror movie? Heather and I'd been talking about this the day before, because her representatives weren't sure should be starring in a horror movie. And I'm thinking, God, and I said, look at them, they're beautiful. They're young. They've got their whole careers ahead of them. They're at the beginning of their careers. They're both gonna do so great. And here I am, I'm starring on a TV show. Should I have taken this part? They're basting me in KY jelly. What am I and then I thought, wait a minute. All this stuff that I'm thinking I can use against them. And that can be my sense memory, my acting school sense memory when I have to work with them, when I have to get up in their face, when I have to dislike them, when I have to glower at them. I can have a real concrete thing in here. I'll just remember those little sons of bitches and their pink fans, and I can get mad at them and envy them. I can be envy because Freddy kills youth. And what is youth? It's the future. So I said, I can make that leap. That'll be my little shorthand, my little synapse that gives me my sense memory. So that I remember that day because once I had that, I could just turn it on like that.
Yeah. The motivations of the actor and the character perfectly we're in sync in that moment.
It's like having a director give you a sad thought or helping you find a sad thought from your past, a dead dog or something, and you can just get there. You can shorthand the emotion, and that was my way of shorthanding the emotion, but having something very real using Heather and Johnny.
Finally, Robert, do you think you'll ever play Freddy again? I remember hearing whispers that something was possibly in the works a few years ago.
No. I mean, maybe they'll do an animated version of it or something, and ask Heather and I to come in, and do some voice work. If they rebooted Part 3, Dream Warriors, I would love to be invited, and I'm sure Heather would too, to do a cameo and perhaps play one of the doctors that don't believe in the nightmares, that thinks they're not real. Cynical, kind of a cynical wink at the audience there. And, cameos of people that were in the original are quite traditional. in a remake, and I don't think that would violate it too much. But I really think they should probably reboot that one, because I think Nightmare 3 is really the most popular. Nightmare 1 is probably sold as many DVDs and videos, but 3, I think, is in terms of taking a vote or a poll, is the ones the fans kind of enjoyed the most. And we're both in it. What's that, 30 years ago?
30.
38 years ago?
35.
37 years ago?